back to the HaneyBiz Project with host Mark Haney.
Welcome back to HaneyBiz Project, brought to you courtesy of Sun Systems Technology. I'm Mark Haney, and today I am joined by Dean Sioukas and Chris Meyers, the founders of Magilla. How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
We're doing great, Mark.
Good. So, Magilla, Chris, why don't you start us off? How did the name Magilla come about?
You know, I think it was just one of those great placeholder names for time being. Back in the day, there was a Magilla Gorilla commercial.
The Magilla Gorilla, yeah.
Right? That was way back in the day. And I love the name Magilla. There's a Yiddish term to mean the whole thing. The whole Magilla. And we, Dean and I wanted a name that was kind of big, you know. We wanted a Google kind of name. Yeah. Not like lend this, fund that, you know. We wanted something that would resonate with people.
Well, it is a cool name. Now, you guys, Dean, give us an overview of what Magilla is. I've described it as a dating site, but that's probably a little extreme, huh?
We definitely didn't build it to be a dating site. The first time we heard that in an interview, we were a little bit scratching our head, and then we went back to the office. We said, well, shoot, it is a dating site.
It's a match. Well, yeah.
It's basically, if you're into dating apps, it's exactly pretty similar to Bumble.
Okay.
Bumble is a newer version of Tinder, where, if I understand it correctly, we're both married. I'm not on, not on these apps, but
it's not on my phone.
It's not on my phone, but I understand the woman chooses.
That's what I hear. We can check with Marcus. I was going to do a site myself, an app, if you will, for older guys, right, called Shribble. I don't know if you guys. It's a little bit like Tinder, but a little bit like Bumble.
I think you're like Bumble in the other. So we built it as Kayak was our concept. Kayak, of course, a lot of us have used that for an aggregator for travel.
Okay.
And Chris came to me with a problem, or an observation, I would say, that he was having about how we go about finding banks, the right bank, to do a loan. And for us, it was business loans, because we were businessmen. And we went online to try to find something that we would use, and when we couldn't find it, literally over the course of a weekend, we built the first prototype. And we wanted Kayak. I wanted to be able to see what's out there, but I wanted to choose.
Right.
I didn't want my phone to ring. So if I put a loan in Magilla right now, and I got my phone with me, it's not going to ring until I actively choose a lender to work with.
So you have this huge choice of banks and lenders, but by putting your name in, you don't get bombarded by telemarketers and other marketing stuff.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and the more important thing is that you don't put your name, social security number, or phone number in there. And we, as a businessman, we don't like sharing our information on the internet, and we don't think anyone really should. So that was the other sort of salient point of Magilla.
Chris, when did you start the company?
Well, we actually started it together, and I believe we started in March of 2015, the end of March.
That was the prototype.
Yeah, I had come up with a real rough version of a website, and Dean's kind of known at our school, St. Michael's Episcopal School in Carmichael, California, as sort of the tech aficionado.
Oh, you guys know each other through the kids? Is that
kids
right?
Are friends.
Yes.
Kids are friends. They're in the same class.
Okay.
So, you know, I went right to him, and he's like, I'll find you something.
Nice.
Didn't exist.
So you created this business not that long ago. Tell us about what's happened with the business since you launched it.
It's exceeded our expectations. I mean, I don't even know what our expectations were in the beginning, other than trying to find something that we would use. And like Chris said, when we couldn't find something, we just built it. And we launched it 1.5 years ago. Although Chris is correct, we prototyped it. You know, we were messing around with it before that. And in 1.5 years, we've had $2 billion worth of loans come through the system.
Wow. Are they mainly commercial type loans, or are they? Can I do a house? Can I do a residential mortgage?
You can do a residential mortgage. The first generation of it was pure business. But our customers would say, this is fantastic. I'm refinancing my office building. You know, I put my wife and I put our home in one of those other sites, and my phone won't stop ringing. The results, what are those results? Those aren't real results. How come I can't put my home into Magilla? So, of course, I mean, customer service, right? You enable home. And now it's 50-50. We don't try to make it 50-50. It's naturally 50-50.
What are the biggest challenges you guys run into in building a business, right? You guys are a startup, and oftentimes there's a lot of growing pains at those early ages. What kinds of things are you guys running into, Dean?
Well, finding people to work. That was the beginning. When Sacramento's becoming more of a tech hub, people don't necessarily think about it that way, and there are great people in Sacramento. They're just a little harder to find. We're not in Silicon Valley, and a lot of the talent is pulled to Silicon Valley. But we're Sacramento guys. We hire from within, and within means our community. So that was a challenge. The other challenge is just navigating advertising. I mean, my business doesn't, my upbringing was as a real estate developer. We don't sell to the public. We sell to home builders and sell to commercial. We never really did advertising, and now this advertising, SEO, SEM, tracking.
Getting yourself noticed out there. So you have your building the team. Obviously, can always be a what's your team look like, Chris?
We're about 10, 11 deep, and we have a very luxurious position of having a couple coders in-house, which is huge for a small company, and a couple marketing people, a couple people specifically set aside, former bankers. So it's a great group of kids.
And what is your background? You guys each have different backgrounds. Dean talked about being a developer. Tell us about your background, Chris.
Yeah, so I'm an attorney from New York, and I was in Hollywood for about 11 years trying to be a screenwiter.
You got that deep voice. You sound like you're a radio guy.
Little Barry White, yeah. And then
I thought that was the mic.
And then
sultry voice.
Yeah, transitioned up and owned a couple of funeral homes in Northern California, and that's where the genesis of Magilla started. Getting about 14.
So funeral homes. I knew that. I assumed that would come up. Now, okay, how does that experience help you as you're launching something like Magilla?
Well, I think first and foremost, you're grateful for every day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's at the bottom line. You see such tragedy on a daily basis that it could go one of two ways, right? You could start drinking at noon, or you could go home and kiss your kids. And I chose the latter. So that's just the gratefulness, I think.
And Dean, you have built some incredible properties, right, in commercial real estate. You described one as we met the other day at your office out there off 5. That's gigantic. Yeah, tell us about your background.
I'm also an attorney. Went to Jesuit High School, Sacramento. Went to Berkeley. Was an econ major. Then I went to Columbia University in New York. Have an MBA and a JD from Columbia. So I was in school for a long time, and came out, worked as an attorney, a real estate attorney. My family's in real estate, and so I'm Greek. Greek people stick with the family.
Yes.
And went to the family business and helped out since I didn't work through. I had the luxury of not necessarily working through college, so you don't take that for granted. When you come back, you start working.
Yep.
Started working, learned a lot, and done subdivisions in Elk Grove, Placer County, industrial.
But you did that Amazon building out there, right?
That's the crowning jewel. Yeah.
Nice.
My family had land that every one of my brothers and my mom and dad, the whole family's worked on that piece of property. And just pretty soon here, Sacramento's going to have its own Amazon fulfillment center right by Sacramento's airport in a development called Metro Air Park, which is just amazing. I mean, to be the first out of the ground in that project and to come out swinging with an Amazon, was
very cool.
Was a very cool day.
A very cool day.
Now that one didn't get run through Magilla because there wasn't that type of a transaction, but we're working on that. Magilla's always got new things up their sleeve, so
I wonder about this. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, I have several businesses. You guys have a number of ventures as well, and how we allocate our resources. And one of our biggest resources is our time. But those decisions around resource allocation, what goes into that for you, Chris? Right, you're juggling many things, and then you're also building this business.
Yeah, I think you surround yourself by great people. Yeah. I mean, that's the key, right? Because I have a woman who takes care of all the funeral homes. She's amazing. And then Dean and I just, sort of naturally segue into what is in his wheelhouse and what's in my wheelhouse in the business at Magilla.
And our businesses translate to Magilla. I mean, we wouldn't have built Magilla if we didn't have businesses. You can't have one without the other. If we were 22-year-old kids out of college, eating top ramen, not to knock that, because that's where some of the greatest ideas, probably Bumble and some of these other, Snapchat, those came from wherever they came from. This is different. I don't know how you could have done this without having experienced the process of doing loans, and not one loan, a lot of loans.
Yeah.
Also, when you're dealing with banks are historically significant. They're powerful. They're important to the economy. And there's a friend of mine, Matt Ryan, actually, his dad said when we were little kids, I don't know, somebody didn't give us change, or I don't know, give us a Slurpee. I don't know what had happened. And he went and fixed it. And me and my friend said, well, I don't understand. We asked the guy the same thing. He's like, boys, you got to have a little gray hair on your head.
A little experience.
A little gray hair on your head in order to get taken seriously. And I think there's some truth to that, where he's done however many loans, 15 business loans. I've done countless real estate loans, and we both own houses. And when we go and talk to bankers, we tell them, we're your customer.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be a bank. We're not trying to knock anyone off their pedestal. All we're saying is, how many car brands are there in the United States? I don't know exactly how many, but in my mind, I don't know, 20? 20 that come to your mind. How many car sites are there to search cars? Hundreds? I don't know. A lot. A lot. You can tell me, anyone around the room can tell me what car you want to buy, and with my iPhone, I can tell you where to get it, what you're going to pay, and how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
There are 6,000 FDIC-insured bank brands in the United States. 6,000. And wow. Chris and I couldn't find anything that we would use to, just like a dating app, the field is this wide. I'm not going to get you don't get approved for a loan on Magilla. That'd be too easy. Life's not that easy. You still have to go through the process. But right. It's this wide. I want to do this. And narrow it.
Yes, and it's that experience that I think makes such a difference. I think you guys are doing something very special right here in Sacramento. We have to go to a break, but I want to thank you guys for sharing the story of Magilla. It's obviously a nationwide company, maybe going beyond those.
That's right.
The nation soon enough. Again, Magilla, based right here out of Sacramento, helping take borrowers and lenders and putting them together all over the country. When we return, we will bring on an award-winning commercial realtor, Randy Getz, Executive VP of CBRE Inc. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, courtesy of my buddies at 5 Star Bank. This is the HaneyBiz Project.